Hi, I'm Johnny Samarco, and I did my PowerPoint presentation on the National Dietary Guidelines. So first off, I'm going to start off by saying that the National Dietary Guidelines is the cornerstone for federal nutrition programs and a go-to resource for health professionals nationwide. The National Dietary Guidelines in the U.S. provides food-based recommendations to promote health, help prevent diet-related chronic diseases, and meet nutrition needs. So the first topic that I want to discuss is nutritional misinformation. So as many of us know, you cannot believe everything that you read on the internet, as some of it is not true and does not come from a reliable source. So to begin, the hottest area of controversy right now within the scope of nutritional and health is nutritional misinformation. There are different types of nutritional misinformation, which include food fads, health fraud, fad diets, which are diets that are popular for a certain period of time, and then they tend to fade away, and misapplied health claims. With the increasing knowledge and the link between diet and health, many people make their own decisions regarding health and nutrition on their own. So you could guide people as much as you want, but you don't know what they're going to do either way. They're going to do what they want at the end of the day. Individuals are relying on health information from things such as televisions, advertisements, their family, and websites, which thus creates an opportunity for misinformation and some health fraud. And health fraud is a misrepresentation of health claims from a self-proclaimed health profession that has found a miracle cure or a drug with health claims that are substantiated. I apologize. I had trouble pronouncing that word. To continue off of what I was saying on the last slide, the right nutritional information is generally science-based and can be reproduced precisely over and over again. Nutritional misinformation is misleading and is not science-based, so all those things that are online that tell you that if you do this, this will help you get skinnier, or take this supplement and this will help you burn fat faster. If it is not science-based, then it's generally misleading. It is hard for customers to distinguish between reputable from nutritional misinformation. We do not depend on manufacturer claims to identify safe products. Instead, find out from unbiased science-based information. So get your facts from your scientist. And the implications of food fads are short-term and have no concern for long-term effects in your overall general health. Health fraud is misguiding knowledge that a profit will be realized. So on this slide, I'm going to continue discussing things that involve nutritional misinformation. So to begin, misdirected health claims generally contain misleading information, and they generally tend to guide customers to trust that a product is healthier than what it actually is or what they claim to be. An example of misguided data is food that is low in carbohydrates. It has a very vast composition of calories. The target population for nutritional misinformation is people with specific medical difficulties. And it is information like fast, easy weight loss and product for curing all diseases that generally are the most misleading nutritional information. The next topic that we move on to here is calorie in, calorie out is all that matters when it comes to weight loss. People tend to argue this all the time. So stating that calories in versus calories out is all that matters when it comes to weight loss is very controversial. Attainment of calorie deficit is very critical when it comes to weight loss, but is not the only thing that is important. So, apart from calories, many variables may prevent weight loss. Health conditions such as metabolic reactions and particular drugs, as well as genetics, are variables that make losing weight harder even for people on a strict diet. So that's why you will tend to see that some people can lose weight very quickly, while other people can't lose weight very quickly, even though they seem to be working very hard. These are some of the reasons why. Those utilizing the calorie in, calorie out method emphasize on the calorie value, ignoring the nutrient value. The nutrient value, and it leads to selecting food with low calorie but deficient in nutrients, which is not proper for general health. So on this slide, we're going to move to a different topic that still has to do with the National Dietary Guidelines. So this topic that we're going to discuss is that high-fat foods are unhealthy. So this theory is slowly being put to rest. Many people are afraid of foods rich in fats and opt for their foods low in fat, hoping that it will be to their benefit and will benefit their health, but that's not always the case. Dietary fat is essential for good health. You need dietary fat. Low fat is a leading cause of health issues such as metabolic syndrome and increased insulin resistance, which are major risk factors for heart diseases. High food fats contribute to weight loss more than low fat diets, which may be surprising to some of you. In extreme cases, like high fat foods and low fat foods may be harmful to somebody's health. On this slide, we're going to be talking about whether or not breakfast is the most important meal of the day, which many people tend to believe. So it has been thought that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but for some adults, this may not be the case. For example, research has showed that skipping breakfast contributes to a low-calorie intake, because if you're not eating that meal, then you're not taking in any calories. Skipping meals or taking breakfast late is connected to many benefits like increased blood sugar regulation. Another fact is intermittent fasting, whereby there is regular breakfast and the next meal follows earlier in the evening. It is worth noting that this does not always apply to teens and growing children and people with a high need for nutrients like mothers and people with certain medical conditions. Skipping meals may have adverse effects on your health. It is not recommended to skip any meals, but you can. And on the contrary, some evidence shows that taking breakfast and high calorie intake in the morning rather than night, coupled with reduced meal frequency, benefits health by reducing your body weight. On this slide, we are going to talk about whether or not you are supposed to eat small regular meals and if doing so is good for your health or if it's bad for your health. So eating small and regular meals during the day is a formula used by several people to increase their metabolism and weight loss over time. This is the claim, but however, this is not true because if you are healthy and matching your energy needs, then small frequent meals may not be as resourceful for you as you might need. Also, people with certain medical complications like diabetic people and pregnant women may gain weight from regular small meals. And including foods rich in cholesterol and nutrients like eggs and full-fat yogurt, they promote the feeling of fullness and provides nutrients that are not available in other foods. So on this side, we're going to discuss whether or not following a diet low in fats is the best way for you to lose some weight. So cutting calories may lead to weight loss, but extreme cases may lead to long-term health choices. Low-calorie intake helps in weight loss in the short term, but adhering to low-calorie intake over a long period of time leads to reduced metabolic rate and increased hunger. Maintaining weight becomes hard in the long term. And this is why studies have shown that people who take diets low in calories hardly succeed in doing away with excess fat. Another thing is that when you have low calorie intake and you don't eat as often, you're tricking your body to keep that food that you do eat in that one meal in your body instead of using it and then getting rid of the waste, because now your body does not know when it's going to get its next meal, so it's holding on to that just in case that it's too long in between your next meals, and that causes you to put on more fat. So on this slide, we're going to talk about whether or not if you're skinny, does that necessarily mean that you must be healthy? So as we learned in class through one of the videos, just because you're skinny and healthy on the outside does not mean that you're healthy on the inside. So within the video, we saw that a younger gentleman who was a gymnast, he loved fast food. He pretty much ate fast food for every meal. He loved French fries. So he got some tests done for his gut bacteria, and another gentleman who was older got his test done, and the gentleman that was older appeared to be healthier on the inside than the other gentleman who appeared to be healthier on the outside. So just because you're skinny does not necessarily mean that you're healthier than everybody else that's heavier than you. So just reducing the risk of getting diseases does not mean that you should be skinny. Just because you're skinny does not reduce your risk of diseases. As I just talked about in the video, the younger gentleman had a higher chance of acquiring diabetes than the older gentleman. The most critical thing is just to make sure that you eat a diet that is rich in nutrients. Make sure you eat your fruits and vegetables. You want to maintain an active lifestyle. You want to get out there. You want to get your cardio in, do your lifts, do whatever you need to do to maintain an active lifestyle, whether it's recreational sports or anything. And just an active lifestyle in general and a nutritious diet helps to improve the good body fat that you have in your body and reduce the overall amount of body fat. So this slide has to do with whether or not weight loss is easy. Now, it's different for every person, as genetics and hereditary things play a big role in this, but weight loss can be easy for some people and it can be very difficult for other people. So to begin, do not be fooled by before and after pictures that are utilized by supplement factories. You don't know when those pictures were taken. They could be taken years apart and just say before and after, and they could have not taken that supplement at all. Weight loss can be attained with little to no effort for some people. Weight loss is not easy, and it requires consistency and patience plus hard work for other people. As I said earlier, genetics as well as other factors make weight loss difficult for different people. And the most crucial thing is to get out of the noise that you hear every day, is to find a diet that is nutritious and sustainable, as well as an active routine that works for you. On this slide, we're going to discuss whether or not high cholesterol foods are unhealthy. So high cholesterol foods have faced a lot of misconceptions over the years. Though some people are very sensitive to cholesterol foods, or foods that are very high in cholesterol, foods containing cholesterol are also needed in a healthy diet. So foods that are high in cholesterol aren't necessarily unhealthy. You can't eat an excess amount of foods that are high in cholesterol if you want to be healthy. Including cholesterol-rich foods and nutritious foods like eggs and low-fat yogurt, they tend to enhance the feeling of fullness and provides nutrients that are not available in other foods. So again, it's not all about not eating foods that are high in cholesterol. It's about moderating the amount of food that you eat that contains high cholesterol. Here we're going to talk about the harmful status on the economic well-being of consumers. So over time, there have been an increase of cases of consumers taking charge of their health care. It leads to exposure to nutritional misinformation after affecting consumers' economic well-being. Whether it is aging or weight loss, people tend to go for low-cost products, thus exposing them to vulnerable information that they'll just believe anything just because the product is cheaper than another product. Meanwhile, that product could not be as healthy for you. There are short-term and long-term costs that are associated with nutritional misinformation, and it leads to physical harm in the short term when it makes people avoid or delay seeking proper medical help. This slide, we're just going to continue talking about the harmful status of the economic well-being on the consumers. So economic harm happens when the product fails to work, and therefore there was no need for buying the product in the first place, and that comes from misleading information that these companies give out about their products and how they're going to help you do this and help you do that. The burden proof lies within the government, and there are a few measures to prevent expensive and useless products from being put out onto the shelves to help us as consumers not even have the opportunity to buy them. The cost of health fraud is estimated to be $1 billion within the United States. $1 billion. So the cost spent on drugs does not harm, but it has no profits as well. And long-term costs associated with nutritional misinformation, like constant psychological issues, such as suspicion. So on this slide, we're going to discuss some political factors that affect nutritional misinformation. So for the most part of the 20th century, the biggest challenge was consumers were buying inadequate foods. The government came up with ways to boost the production and the distribution of these inexpensive foods that were also inadequate for people. The kind of foods that were being distributed are stapling products, and during the time of obesity and chronic diseases were not as prevalent as they are today, and the recent rise of diet-related diseases such as diabetes and obesity are caused by the measures and policies that were employed then, not now, and these are the effects that we are having. This slide has to do with national dietary guidelines that are sociocultural, that have to do with nutrition. So, as we know, human beings are social. Our food habits have been obtained from our cultures, which vary from one community to another. Social cultural factors on nutrition differ from one material technology to implicit technology. Methods such as food production, conflicting beliefs, and cooking should be taken into consideration. And although Western civilization influences the choice of foods worldwide, people should be careful about their nutritional well-being and not take it very lightly, because this is our health. What we put into our body affects how well our body is going to be able to age and how healthy we're going to be and whatnot. This slide has to do with what is being done by government and organizations to address nutritional misinformation. So there should be rapid improvements in nutrition and health here in America, as they're now starting to change some of the national dietary guidelines. The government is concerned with interventions while recognizing that improved living standards are essential for improving everybody's overall health. Contact with trained people is essential for improving nutritional health. If you don't know anything about nutrition, it's advised that you could get nutritional health to learn things to help be healthier. Interacting with trained people has also helped to reduce cases of childhood malnutrition in Europe, so it should help here as well. And in most cases, community-based programs create contact between society and qualified people. This slide has to do with challenges resulting from ethical considerations. So the dilemma of the current generation is providing plenty of food, which is nutritious for all in an environmentally sustainable and safe way, which is good. Food Security Directive is directed at providing calories in bulk instead of to reduce hunger, which is not good, because if you continue to eat a lot of calories and you don't feel full, you're going to keep eating and eating and eating, and all you're doing is increasing your calories, which is not good, which is going to cause you to gain weight and be unhealthy. Food security should be instead directed as nutritional well-being, which may result in an increased body weight. And if we do not affect changes regarding feeding in this country, and there will be increased environmental health and societal expenses. Another area of controversy when dealing with nutrition and health is child obesity. So the United States government researchers discovered that overweight people have a lower death rate than normal weighted people, which is very surprising. It is also discovered that there are very few deaths that result from obese people as opposed to their earlier thoughts. Newspaper quickly jumped into it, and that being fat reduces the risk of death. Regrettably, they didn't note that most government research has serious flaws, and the research underestimated the relationship between weight and the death risk. So the technical and economic changes in the world assisted in overcoming obesity, but still there are a few effective policies that are put in place to help people to stop becoming obese. Political interventions on the price of commodities in the United States have really been lacking. Clinicians play a crucial role in the establishment of causes of obesity. And obesity, a high level of fat, is associated with significant risk factors for kidney, gallbladder, and rectum diseases, as well as cancer. So, all in all, the nutritional world is filled with misinformation, which results in a lot of confusion for a lot of people and mistrust for medical practitioners, which also leads for people to have poor choices with their diet. The nutritional world is constantly changing, so no wonder people are having the wrong information about what constitutes a healthy diet, because if what constitutes a healthy diet continues to change and we're following what constitutes a healthy diet and then that changes, maybe that's the reason why we're not as healthy as we want to be. So the best thing that you could do is just educate yourself so that you learn to separate the fact from the fiction and develop a sustainable and nutritional pattern that is best for your health needs, and just try to stick with it and be as healthy as possible. Thanks for listening. This is just my references pages that shows where I got all my information for this presentation. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you learned a little bit and that you enjoyed this. Have a good one.